welcome to Attacking Third, your favorite women's soccer show. I'm Sandra Herrera alongside my girl Lisa Carlin, Jordan Angeli. We got an OG crew here today. I am thrilled because we've got so many great topics to get through. We've got plenty of UWCL recap to get through, a lot of games because there's still one more ahead of us. Match day 6 will be here before we know it. So we're going to look ahead to Women's Champions League to close out the league phase. And there just might be some updates around a little player named Trinity Rodman. There's just nothing going on there, but we'll talk about it anyway. And I'm thrilled to be doing it with these two. We're just so happy that we're joined by everybody, whether you're here with us live on YouTube or watching on the Golazo Network or just listening to us as a podcast. Thank you. And let us know that you're here. We know that you are. We see you floating around in the chat. Let us know how you're feeling about all things Women's Champions League and Trinity Rodman. Lisa.
Yeah.
I miss you, bud.
Hi, good morning, Sandra. Hi, Jordan. Guys, we have such a packed show today in A3. And frankly, this is the crew to do it with because we've got opinions, we've got thoughts, we've got breakdowns on Champions League. We have insider info from Sandra on Trinity Rodman. It is so good to be back. It's been a minute since I've been on A3. I've been bopping around the CBS Golazo Network studios, covering a lot of different things. So now I get to bring all my joy, all my love, all my energy back to A3, really where it belongs. Let's be honest.
Look at James. James is noticing that. He said, "Welcome, Lisa. Haven't seen you in a while. It has been a while."
It's good to be back, James. Thanks.
Yeah. I love it. Keeping tabs. Just folks out there keeping tabs. I mean, I was like, we were talking about it off mic. I was just like, goodness gracious, so happy to be working with Lisa. And you too,
honestly,
Jordan.
It's a good thing though, because that means we get to hear all these other voices that have come into A3 and we've grown our roster. Like J Money, Jordan. It's good to have
you. We talk about rosters a lot here, right? We name our teams of the week. We're very, very lucky. We had a little bit of fun in the last episode. We did like a World Sevens kind of like team of the.
I got a bone to pick with you, Sandra. I didn't even make your Sevens squad.
You know what, Jordan? I was thinking about it and I'm like,
who's going to score the header goals?
Our talent bench has grown so much where I was like, oh, there's almost too many options here.
You were funny though. That was a funny episode. You called McCall out. You're like, so basically just a North Carolina Courage when they won all their championships. And that was really fun. It is fun to hear all the different voices. And yeah, to think you two started this whole thing years ago, just two on the, you two on the bench. And now it has grown to so many people. It's good to be back. Good to see your faces. And Sandra, I can't wait for you to just lead the charge here for us.
We're gonna hop right into it. Don't you worry. Let's just hop right into it. We got a lot of speaking of standout performances, we've got a few that we need to highlight over the course of the most recent round of Champions League play. We had a lot of discussion around top teams. I think at this point, it's pretty safe to say that Lyon and Barcelona are kind of leading the charge, right? When we're talking about folks who are leading things. Oh my goodness. A statement win, maybe? I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm curious the vibe that you all got from this one. A 3-0 victory over Manchester United. I think there were a lot of different sort of narratives going into this one. Manchester United have been kind of this organized, defensively structured kind of team with Fallon Tullis-Joyce typically in the back, but they've had to kind of figure things out without her. They did not have a good November in her absence when she was out with a fractured eye socket, but she was back in goal for this Champions League campaign, but up against a mighty opposition in Lyon with a huge attacking side. So as far as the performance, maybe a tale of two halves. I think I maybe want to give a little bit of opportunity here, maybe Lisa, to kind of shed some light on this match, because you look at 3-0 and you're like, blowout, but it didn't get there right away.
No, it really didn't. I think to start this game, Lyon had a lot of possession and they did dominate the game in terms of watching what happened, but it didn't get out of hand for Manchester United. They were fine defensively. They did a really good job. They packed the box. They were tight. They looked to counterattack, but they did have to defend a lot. And for Manchester United, the way that they play their game is possession oriented. They want to dominate on the ball. They want to build out of the back. They want to work the ball around. The goals that United have scored in WSL and in Champions League have often come from these long, slow possession build outs. And against a team like Lyon, we weren't going to get that from United. Absolutely. Because Lyon wants to dominate the ball. And when you've got 8-time European champs, they're going to control it. But I think that pressure ultimately came, and in small margins of the game is where you see teams that have played in Europe before, players that have competed in knockouts.
Lise, you're cutting out for me, bud, and you're saying so many good things, and I'm sad that your point that you're back. You're back. What was your closing point there?
That I don't remember. I was talking too much. I don't know. Go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can't. It was weird. It's like your microphone just slowly started.
Yeah, it's like your mic was like, shut up.
Stop talking, Lisa. But that was actually not the case because you were saying so many good points. And it is, I think Mark Skinner has done such a good job with his Manchester United team because he can pick and choose the tactics. When you're playing against a team like Lyon, you better be in for the fight and you better be in for knowing mentally that you're not going to have the ball a lot. And it wasn't until the last 10 minutes that Lyon scored 2 goals. And even despite that, I felt like Manchester United was really in this game, right? They didn't, the chances that Lyon created weren't, Fallon Tullis-Joyce, yes, made a couple of great saves, but it wasn't like she was left and right diving and making sure that her goal wasn't penetrated. But that being said, this Lyon team, when they have the ball moving around and the way that they switch lines, Dumane and Hedberg coming inside, the two switching, utilizing their wingers, Bacha getting up into the attack. It's like, how do you stop them when they are flowing and changing lines so dramatically? It was a fun game to watch because United stayed in it. And I think that's kind of been an overall theme with a lot of teams, is just staying in, making sure that the games stay close as long as possible in this Champions League.
That's kind of the beauty, I think, of this sort of new era of women's Champions League with this league phase. We had, I think, joked really early on out of like match day 1, match day 2. We were just like, gosh, it's kind of like giving NWSL a little bit, like any given Sunday, like anyone can kind of be in it before we started to see some teams separate themselves. But now as we're kind of like staring, towards the end of this gauntlet, maybe for teams that are getting these later matchups like Manchester United against Lyon, knowing that they're in a good position to advance into that knockout phase, in Lyon's case, as a quarterfinal, this is a good timing maybe to kind of have this run at this very elite sort of team. But I think you're both spot on, Lisa, defensively, what we saw from Man United in the attacking side from Lyon, and your points about what they were producing, Jordan. And I just Elsie Dumornay. I mean, like, it's not even that she was like getting the goals. It was the manner and how she was, scoring them. Jackie D64, we see you. Is Dumornay Lyon's best player? 100%, in my opinion. And I'm glad you're asking because I don't know. I'll just put myself on blast. I've seen enough. I think Melchi Dumornay, there needs to be louder conversation around this player. She needs to be in these serious trending convos around Ballon d'Or type of chatter. If a player playing in France is not in the serious chatter of a French award like Ballon d'Or, I don't know. I'm going to lose my mind. And if
she should have been higher in the chats and in the rankings last year.
If we're talking about this timeline, what is it, August to July, the time you vote on performing, and you're looking at Dumornay and what she's doing for Lyon right now to close out this year, and the fact that the reigning Ballon d'Or winner is going to be out for the next 5 months, like there's an opportunity here to maybe shake some things up, and it's enough for me. She's at the top of that
You already want to vote.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm tapped in.
It'll be really interesting too, because it's a big international year for Haiti as well. And so how does she perform on her national team level? But she's just the player you want to watch. You want to tune into games to watch Dumornay and what she's doing, because she's connecting the lines. There was a point where she regained the ball in the defensive third and then drove all the way up the field and helped create an attack. Like, what in the heck? This is a 10 who's doing so much work on both sides of the ball and making it look effortless and scoring the goals at the end of the game. Like she is everywhere.
Crazy
With
versatile.
Dumornay as well is sometimes it's easy to find star players on teams that don't have a lot of talent or depth when someone just shines so bright. The thing with Lyon is they are absolutely stacked on their roster, and Dumornay still shines brighter than some of the other players around her. Diani, Eula Brandt up top, Katoto, Hegerberg. Like right there are so many really talented players on this Lyon team, but Dumornay provides something different than all of those. And that's what sets her apart, and her ability to create for herself, for her teammates in between the lines. I think the defensive work as well, Jordan, as you're talking about, does set her apart from some of her other teammates. And Lindsay Heaps talked about yesterday in post-game interviews how much Dumornay is constantly wanting to learn and wanting to get better. And those are also the small differences in players that feel content in their ability and others that want to push and continue to grow.
I loved that interview, coming out of the desk with Heaps. It's pretty revealing too. Like when you've got like one of your more experienced, more seasoned players noting that, kind of just clocking that on your teammate and being like, not even close to where we know the ceiling is for this player. High praise by Heaps. We're Dumornay, Heaps. We're not even getting into some of the other players on this squad. Katoto, Brandt. Like it's endless. Johannes, it can go on and go on and go on. It's an embarrassment of riches, quite frankly. Jonathan Herraldes he's got to play with that roster a bit. You have to manage your domestic club season. You have to manage what feels like maybe a longer Champions League campaign. And it just sort of feels like things are brewing. Things are brewing between maybe what we can consider the co-favorites now in this tournament between Barca and OL. He's not unfamiliar with that squad. Once upon a time, he was a Champions League winning coach for that Barca side. Now he's with Lyon. How has he made this current team so formidable since his arrival in June, Lisa?
The thing with Jonathan Herraldes is he understands how to manage stars, and that was evident at Barcelona, and he had to do that immediately at Lyon. What he's done so well, Sandra, is he's not changing these players' makeup and who they are, right? Lindsay Heaps wants to be on the ball and play the time ticker, the quarterback a little, distribute things. Lily Johannes, when she gets on the ball, she wants to be creative and go forward. He hasn't stifled any of that. All he's done is add, I think, a little bit more defensive structure and organization to this Lyon side. As soon as they lose the ball, they swarm their opposition. They're high press. When even watching this game against United, they were putting United's back line, Fallon Tillis-Joyce, the center backs, under so much pressure, but it was so organized as well. They bait you into one spot and then they swarm. It's almost as if the structure of how he sets up his team is what he's really tinkered with in order to get the best out of the players and their individual skill sets. Because then we're still seeing Dumornay be able to take the entire pitch by herself, right? They have so much freedom and interchange to go wherever they want. It's a little bit off the ball to me is where Herraldes has added different layers into Lyon.
We'll see. We'll see if they collide, those two teams. I mean, it's they are.
It feels inevitable right now.
They're the co-favorites. If they weren't before, they truly are now. I mean, and going into this match day 5, this 5th round of play, there was kind of like a top 3. It was Barcelona in their wild goal differential, level on points with Lyon right behind them, and at one point it was Wolfsburg, which maybe, depending on how you feel about Bundesliga right now at the moment, or how German teams have been performing in Champions League, maybe you thought this is a little bit of a surprise, but they had an opportunity for sure to maybe continue to make a statement. Maybe they fell short. And what do you think, Jordan? They dropped 3 points to Real Madrid.
It was going to be a really good match. I think this is one of the matches you circle and you say, this is why we want leagues play, right? We want this type of setup, is these types of matches that mean so much in the first stage of this tournament. And so you thought it was going to be a tight game. as soon as there was that second yellow and the red card, and there's 45 minutes for Wolfsburg to find an equalizer and a game winner, you're thinking, oh, they got this in the bag. At least I was thinking that, because yes, Real Madrid can hit you in so many good ways, good defensive structure, great on the counterattack, which they proved in this game. But you're just thinking this Wolfsburg team is going to find a way. When I looked back at some of the stats on this, Pop, one chance created, one chance. One of her 3 shots were on target, where 0 of her 3 shots were on target. These are players that have had really big, good runs in the Champions League for them domestically. And you expect them, when push comes to shove, when their backs are against the wall and they're losing with a player down, it ends up being 2 players down right at the end of the game, but I don't think that's really relevant. When they're a player down for 45 minutes, you expect Pop to be on the ball more. You expect her to create those chances. Go ahead, Lise.
Yeah, I agree, Jordan. You're exactly right with that. But because they were down, Real Madrid was already up a goal. They had the ability to sit back a little deeper. And then because of that, Wolfsburg, like on the counter where Linda Caicedo scored the second goal in this game, it was because Wolfsburg threw all their numbers forward. They were desperate for a goal. They pushed everyone forward. That's a switch off for me. You have to be aware that Real Madrid is going to hit you in the counterattack. That was very uncharacteristic of Wolfsburg in this game. But understandably why they needed a goal. They had to push up a player. They think, all right, let's take a risk and send everyone forward. And it absolutely hurts them.
It's Champions League. It is an opportunity. It's an advantage when you get the player advantage. And then to get a second red, and this went from 10 players to 9 players. I just was like, any second now. That's how I felt. I'm like, yeah, any second now. Like this is going to shift or change. But at the same time, it was also like, no, it's not, because Linda Caicedo was having like the game of her life in this one. Outrageous play.
Right. When isn't Linda Caicedo just balling out?
You don't want to, it's like you don't want to put it all on one player, but just talk about an athlete who just like kind of maybe understands the moment and what is being asked and just kind of rising, to that occasion. Just excellent performance.
As Wolfsburg starts to push, she's like, ha, 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 yeah. Here I come.
Right where I want you.
Watch this, you guys.
It's a big win for them. They'll have to figure some things out because the hand has been forced. There's 2 red card suspensions that the coaching staff will have to figure out and manage. But this now means that they sit in 5th place, and Real Madrid only has 1 loss in this Champions League campaign so far. I mean, they look a little bit different from prior Champions League versions of themselves. Is this the team that will make the deep run, Lisa?
Real Madrid?
Yeah.
I think they very well could. They did last year too, right? You look at their knockout round play against Arsenal and how they had the advantage in leg 1 after a really gritty game. We've seen different layers of this Real Madrid side because they can be really gritty. They can be really technical on the ball. They understand how they can play to grind through games, whether that's sitting back and then throwing numbers forward. And I think the play that we're seeing right now of Linda Caicedo and Caroline Ware are tremendous. Like the partnership between these players has been really fun as well. Yeah, I'd be terrified if I'm opposition that now has to go up against Real Madrid, especially knowing that they just shut out Wolfsburg, a team that had 33 goals in their last 11 games. Wolfsburg scores goals no matter what happens. I would be a little terrified if you have to play Real Madrid coming up.
A team that you don't really have to be terrified right now against, Lisa. PSG. We got look. We're shouting out the teams that are succeeding along the way. We have to talk about a little bit of a crash out for some of the others. Paris Saint-Germain, only 1 point in 5 matches, 0 wins for this group. You're talking about once upon a time perennial contenders. Just a massive absolute fall from grace. Just really kind of just not good borderline embarrassing in general performance from this team. Where did it all go wrong for PSG in your opinion?
I can go first.
Yeah, go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. It felt like this PSG team, yes, they lost a lot of players in the offseason, and it feels like there's some turmoil there, right? That is evident, that it's seeping through onto the field, because when you're looking at this team, I think in previous iterations that you just mentioned, Sandra, is they're stars. There are players that you expect to score goals in moments. Who do you expect to be the big player in these games, right? Kachawi tried that. Carmona is there. Yaya, I think maybe those three are the names that like pop out to you as like, okay, here are our biggest players. And it feels like to me when I watch PSG play, there is a desperation to the way that they play, and they're always pressing the game. Like nothing is coming easy. It's like, we got to do this. And I got to try harder on this cross. And sometimes when you're pressing the game like that, it actually is detrimental to you. I think the perfect example is that opportunity right at the end of the game where they have the header, and I don't know the two players in contention, but there's one in front of the ball who actually should have kept running and let the following player head the ball because she had a better angle and wouldn't have had to rise so high to get to it. And you could see after that moment how disappointed everybody on the field was for PSG because they knew that was their moment. That's what I mean by pressing the game. It feels desperate. It doesn't feel like they have a match winner. And to me, if you look at all of these other teams, we can name a couple of players that there are expectations for them to be the winner of this team, find the game winning goal, do a moment of, like perform a moment of magic. And when I look at this PSG team, I feel there's a lot of good players, but I don't know who that player is.
PSG were living and dying by every single moment throughout these first 5 match days in Champions League. It just like you said, Jordan, they missed that header and you see the body language of all these players. It's like, well, there goes our Champions League hopes and dreams. Frankly, they were gone a few match days ago to me because PSG didn't pick up a single point. They were the only team to lose their first 4 Champions League matches. Wild. They pick up 1 point in 5 matches, and it comes against Leuven, who are surprise contenders in this. Now, I will throw a bone to PSG. They had a tough league phase. They had tough competition. Wolfsburg, Real Madrid, Manchester United, Bayern Munich, and now Leuven to close it out. But it has to be better at the front. It has to be better. You have to not put so much stake in these small moments of the games because, Jordan, you know better than anyone as a former player, it is a 90-minute game. You can't live and die by these small individual battles. They all have to compound onto each other and help you into it. And PSG looks really individualized.
And when they don't compound, you start to get in your head, and then you start to think like, oh, this isn't going our way. How do we get out of this? How do I make the difference? And it's a different, like,
frantic.
It's a different feeling than it is when things, you start to stack those wins and you are like, okay, it's going to come. It just never felt like they thought it was going to come.
They got work to do. I know that. It's tough. And I think that coach's seat gets hotter. You have a very poor Champions League campaign with no wins to show for it. They've got 1 game to maybe try to salvage a moral victory, but I just don't see it happening for them. And they're still chasing Lyon. I think they're in, that race, but they're 3 points well behind them in the domestic league standings. So they've got their work cut out for them for sure.
Well, they'll get to focus on that now. So that's nice.
Yeah. They have a nice long off season to do it. I love it, Jordan. Oh my goodness. What a mic drop. Let's wrap it up on that. We're going to close out Champions League chatter because we have a favorite segment that we love to do, and we're bringing it back right after a quick break.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars. What a difference she has made.
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount+.
Welcome back to Attacking Third. We're chatting all things Women's Champions League. We're wrapping up with one of our favorite segments. We want to make sure that we bring back Team of the Week every week throughout the NWSL regular season, we nominated a team of the week. Forwards, midfielders, defenders, a goalkeeper. We even threw out a coach of the week. We named an honorary captain. We tried to like think outside the box, maybe have fun with that a little bit. And we thought, let's bring it on back and do it here on Attacking Third. This is going to be a group project. We typically would go line by line and debate, but you know what? It's holiday season. We're feeling loosey-goosey. We're going to go ahead and
there are no rules here at A3.
We do what we want. And not only that, not only are we going to like work at it as a group project together, I want to invite the chat. So if our producers see any good ideas, I want the people to let us know who they thought.
This is the season of giving.
Exactly. Who did you all think? I want the chat to let us know. I want to hear from the people. Who did you think had excellent individual performances throughout match day 5? And let us know. We'll be looking to you as well. But Jordan, you're going to kick us off. Who are some players that stood out to you?
Well, we've already talked about both of these players. I'm going to start up front because goals win games, right? Yep. I have Caicedo on there. I think she was just excellent in helping Real Madrid make sure they secured a win. And then Duane, like, how do you not put her on? I don't know. Maybe she's even the captain, right? Because of her performance in this game, 2 goals at the end of it. So I guess we're starting off with forwards, but those are 2 forwards that I have.
Yeah, those are really good shouts. I want to give some Italian love to actually Jordan, someone who I think is your twin at times, Cristiana Girelli for Juventus, because the captain helped Juve secure their place in the next round. She had 2 goals, but they were penalty goals. It doesn't matter. She organizes. She leads so well. I think she has to be on our team of the week.
Do we need to do a side-by-side of us to see if we're like...
I think you guys are like, you look alike, Jordan.
I know we do look alike. I wonder if we're related to each other somewhere back in our lineage.
I was going to say, I mean, Girelli, Angeli, like there's got to be something.
There's a lot.
There's got to be something going on. This like no, just
maybe purely, I don't know. I have no idea.
Purely,
see it. I do see it.
I like that one.
I think these are great
that
shouts.
was my one shout for Girelli. I also have maybe an honorary mention because this team didn't win, but Clara Buell is so good for Bayern.
Yeah.
She had 2 assists in this game, and she just sees the game so well. Her football IQ, when she is on the ball, she picks out passes. Now, Bayern concede at the end, right? And they end up drawing this game. So I understand if we think there are better players out there, but I did want to give some love to Buell.
We could also push Dumarnet into the midfield, right? She's a 10. Like, I think if we like those other 3, we can go with those 3 and then just already have a midfielder.
I mean, we can also just do like a front 6, right? We don't have to be crazy about it because it's, I mean, no love for like Beth Mead. Like she got the lone goal, right? Like Arsenal's is one of those teams that's maybe had like a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of their title defense because they're the reigning champions here. But Beth Mead, good players, veterans find a way, right? And turns out that was all they mean. Shout out to Giggsy, 37.
Giggsy would.
They said, yes, put some respect on Mito. So I would maybe make it, but the thing is when I'm looking at the forwards, right? I'm like, no, I don't want to like take anyone out. But maybe we do push Dumarnet down and we put Beth Mead, include her in there as well.
But we don't have anyone from Barcelona. We don't have anyone from Chelsea. Does this feel
like Ridding Canarid for Chelsea? Like she had a really good game, guys.
Yeah.
1 assist. It's so fun when you can pick all these different forwards.
Right.
It's crazy.
I would agree with that. I'm with you, Lise.
I think Clara Buell's out. They didn't get the win. Bayern conceded in the end. They had a couple leads in this game, and they weren't able to hold on to it.
Okay.
I mean,
but I do think Buell's been excellent in general, and she needs to be for them. But yeah, I think we could take her out.
Is it part of the is it part of the way that game ended for you?
Yeah,
Lisa? That kind of loses.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is because they needed to win, right? It would have been a bigger statement if Bayern gets this win and they hold on to the lead that they have, but they don't. They concede and they end up drawing 2-2.
Yeah, no, I maybe in that regard we look at Atletico. Is there like anyone that we think could make their way into that? But again, it's like, who do we really want to, move around here in this one? Benitez with the credible kind of game winner. I'm not too sure where we're able to like slaughter if we do go with that. But I think that's fair. I think in terms of like, hey, like great assist, like you continue to lead the way in that category for this tournament. But when it came to the overall performance, maybe it, loses a little bit of the luster for sure. But I think that could be some of the controversy. There might be some folks who are like, we can't believe you didn't have Clara Buell in there. We were not getting any defender love at the moment. Any defenders that we want to start rattling off?
Jordy, you have some?
Yeah, I felt like, I think this Lyon performance in general, we talked a lot about how Manchester United did well, but I thought Bacha was and continues to be just one of the best outside backs in this tournament, and the way she can get forward and create and help this Lyon team. Bacha was the one that really stuck out for me as an outside back. Like she's got to get some love here.
Yeah, I like that shout. Lyon's Ingrid Engen also had a really tremendous game defensively.
I feel like she's on the up. She's had a couple of tough years, and she's re-showing herself. Like, okay, don't forget about me. Put a little more respect on my name. And I like that from her. She needed that.
I'm also going to give shouts to Chelsea defender Millie Bright. She ends up with player of the match in this game for the Blues, guys. Her first ever Champions League player of the match award. But Millie Bright has been good. I mean, Chelsea's going through it, guys. They needed this win. They've hit a little bit of a slump in their league play.
When they've just like drawn two and like lost one, right?
I know, but they are.
First
in the WSL.
Oh no, I can't believe it. Maybe.
Yeah, you like that one?
I do. I like that one a lot. I still am like I want to give some love to the Serie A sides. I think in this case it's Juventus. I thought Paulina Kronbeigel did a really good job. I think she got the
goal.
Did she? She got the goal, but I can't. If it was between her and Hireli, who got player of the match. I can't really. I think I'm getting my wires crossed there. But if she didn't get the player of the match honors, I think worthy performance. I think another one that we can maybe slot in there. I mean, the fullbacks were like kind of balling out a bit in this one. I'm fine if like this back line ends up being nothing but outside backs, because we get to do whatever we want.
I have some center back love I want to give out there, because Paris FC was able to pick up much needed points in their match, and they absolutely needed it. They end up winning 1-0 over Vålerenga, but their center backs did a really good job. So the first one I'm going to shout out, both of them, I'm going to give some love to. Selena Hossein, she is the one that took the hit from Savic for Vålerenga right before the half that drew the red card that ultimately puts Vålerenga down a player. Now, I don't think defenders necessarily deserve to be on our team of the week just because they took an elbow to the face, but that changes the game for Paris in this, because now they have a player up and they have a whole 45 minutes to get the win. But I was even more impressed with the other center back, Theo Greboval, because this is a player that was on the ball. She was having those line breaking passes, and she's the one ultimately that whips the ball in that ends up being the handball for the penalty that Paris ends up scoring on. So I think that of the two center backs for Paris, Greboval is the one that should be in our team of the week.
Sold. I'm absolutely sold on that.
They needed this win. This was a big one for Paris.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great shout. In terms of any sort of statement games that maybe took place, we didn't even really get to touch on Paris FC for the real Parisians. The real Parisians stood up in match day 5, and it was Paris FC.
So I say we go Bright over Engen, go Greboval as the center backs, Bacha, and then how do you say that girl? I wasn't as good as you. Yeah, Kronbeigel.
Kronbeigel.
So good.
I'm trying my best.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Good. I like that shout. All right, guys, do you have a goalkeeper? Because I have one I want to give love to. Do you know?
I don't. I didn't have a goalkeeper written down, so I was hoping our team would come through.
Go off, Lisa, because I think we might have the same one.
The surprise team of Champions League has been Leuven, and Lois Senhave has stood on her head in goal for Leuven every single game day in Champions League, and they take out PSG in this draw. 6 saves for Sven Have against PSG to keep themselves alive, because now Leuven is still in it, right? They're one of the 3 teams that are still alive.
Very
and
alive.
It came down to this shutout that they got over PSG to knock them out and to keep themselves in it. So I'm going to go Sven Have.
I don't hate it. I think the debutantes are doing exactly what people love to see debutantes do. They are playing fearlessly, and I think a huge part of that is because of the confidence coming out of that back net. Massive performances. I think I did want to like try to give a little bit of love to Real Madrid and Misa Rodriguez just because of like the craziness of the game, and I deeply respect the game management side of things when it came to that game in particular. You know, Pop, rightfully so, not on the ball as much. Maybe a Wolfsburg side that wasn't as threatening on the day, but you still have to manage some very, very crazy and tough moments, going down not just to 10, but then to 9. Like all of a sudden, a lot really falls upon your shoulders as a keeper. So I think we're going to stick with your pick, Lise, but I just wanted to give a little shout.
The honorary mentions are always good. Our chat is giving love to Benfica's keeper, Pals, who
another great one.
Absolutely had a great game against Barcelona. Jordan, you're all into the stats. Do you know how many shots Barcelona took in this game against Benfica? Take a guess.
24.
40. Wrong. 40. Insane. 40 shots for Barcelona. 15 of them were on target. They had 10 big chances, and they missed 9 of them thanks to Benfica's goalie. So Lena Pauls, I like the people in the chat giving love to her, so we had to do it a little bit up here too.
Yeah, we can give her love, but I think we're at Leuven, what's going on over there, and 6 saves in the game. Yeah, and it was a different result, right? I think the Palace did a great job on the game day, but the result didn't quite go the same way as it did over for Leuven. So I like the chat, though. Thank you guys for helping us here.
I love it. Do we not have I'm already trying to think ahead here for our social team. Do we not have enough like Barcelona players?
I know. I think we could get a midfielder in there. Yeah, we could, because we haven't filled out the midfield yet.
Okay, well maybe this is like a little bit of controversy, and you all can tell me like what you feel about this. But Alexia Putellas had an opportunity in this game against Benfica. Misses the penalties. This is her second time missing a pen in the league phase. We're just talking about facts here. No one's saying anything else. We're just spitting things that happened in Women's Champions League. That is a thing that happened. Putellas has missed twice from the spot. But in a game like this, maybe her presence, maybe her movement helps things out for a younger player in that middle third and someone like a Vicky Lopez. I think with Bonmati out, this roster is going to continue to see more younger players get utilized, whether it's some combination of Vicky Lopez, of Sera Jordi in the mix. But, well, chat's feeling more Vicky Lopez. So maybe Lopez gets the nod over someone like a Putellas. I don't know if you all have feelings about it.
I think it's a good shout for Putellas because of how much responsibility she has had to pick up without Aitana Bonmati. Sandra, you can't miss a pen.
I agree. That's why I'm like, maybe we go more towards Vicky Lopez. I'm not sure.
I love Vicky Lopez. I think she has done a really good job as such a young player, also filling the holes that Bonmati leaves. I am all for Vicky Lopez. You got to finish your pen, Putellas. Sorry.
It's true. No true words have ever been spoken. I don't know if you feel any strongly about it one way or the other, Jordan.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like it's hard to be on our team of the week if you miss a penalty kick. Like we gotta draw the line somewhere. I know there's no rules, but that might be a rule. You gotta score 3 goals if you miss a pen. There's the new rule.
Goodness gracious. You gotta score 3 goals if you get the pen. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Can I have a shout for one other midfielder? I thought that Igorola from Lyon was excellent in the game. And I think when we're talking about how Lyon wants to play, and how they're constantly switching the lines. And what I mean by that is the attacking players are getting into the midfield, the defenders are getting in beyond the front line, the midfielders are getting in beyond the front line, right? There's a lot of combinations, but also switching of lines between their players. And Igorola just sits there and is like, all right, cool. You guys do all the things, and I'm going to clean everything up, and I'm going to start the plays, and I'm going to go watch you guys work. And I thought that just she solidifies centrally what they're doing, dictates which side they're going to press to. And I just really enjoy watching her play, because when you're a 6 and you make it look easy, then you everybody should pay more attention to you.
I like it. Put that one in Sharpie. Egorola from Lyon. Good shout.
I like it. I like this one. I think we tried to, tackle it as best we could as a group project. Shout out to the chat for letting us know your thoughts and feelings about it. We got to come up with a coach, though. Who is going to be our coach of the week for this group project team of the week that we just put together?
Despite maybe some individual brilliance from Real Madrid, Pau Quesada managing a group that goes down to 10 players and then at the very end down to 9 players, and for Real Madrid still to get the win over the German giants Wolfsburg, that's going to be my nomination for coach of the week, Quesada.
I think that's a good one. I think it's also kind of like out of the box a little bit, because I think it could be easy to be like, we talked about him at the top of the show with Giraldez and some of the things he's done, but equally I think that could also be the challenge. It's not easy to challenge or to coach up superstars on a roster, especially when you have multiple players who kind of fit that category of what can define a star player. So I think that's maybe more of a shout out, but I like your pick.
Yeah, and you get a win against Wolfsburg with a player down, 2 players down. It's just so late. I know. I just hate saying it, but it's the reality of it. So 2 players down. I think that is, you got to go there to Real Madrid for coach of the week.
Yeah, Sandra, right. I just try to think outside the box a little. Like, we could give it to Jonah Giraldez every single week because of Leo and what they do, but it's too easy. So I like Real Madrid.
Let's go. You like it. I love it. This was fun. I love that we get to do our team of the weeks and keep that rocking and rolling into the end of the year. We've got more to chat about. The real reason why everyone's here, besides Women's Champions League content, is to get their updates on Trinity Rodman. We've got some. We'll be right back after a quick break.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it? The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount+.
Hello and welcome back to Attacking Third, your favorite women's soccer podcast. We've got to chat about really the NWSL offseason. And really one specific player. There's been a lot of movement in this league today, but there's no greater attention and spotlight in this moment than there has been on Trinity Rodman. There's been a lot going on in terms of the back and forth of negotiations, where things are coming from, where things are headed. If you've been struggling, keep up.
No, I'm sure nobody feels that way.
If you've been struggling to keep up with what's been going on, because it feels like it's not even day to day, like it's hour to hour, minute to minute, second to second. I went ahead and I took a deep dive on a timeline of the Trinity Rodman contract situation. And I decided to go way back. I wanted to because this really stems from the previous contract, which came out of her 2021 rookie year, a contract that made a lot of news even back then. It was really cutting edge for its time. Maybe really the start of what we're witnessing now, because a 4-year deal that she signed out of her rookie season broke that $1 million threshold. And now, as we fast forward to December 2025, as her contract is expiring, we're talking completely different numbers here. We're talking about numbers that would like essentially be cat breaking for a team if they threw their hat in this ring in NWSL. And in the Spirits case, there was a deal on the table that the club and player agreed to at the time that was essentially vetoed by NWSL Commissioner Jessica Berman because it violated the spirit of the league rules. Everybody's had a lot of fun with that supposed allegation of a quote, and it's just become part of this ongoing story. In response, the NWSLPA has filed a grievance on Rodman's behalf, and so there's been just a lot of back and forth. What does it all mean, especially with the grievance? Because that meant that once you file that official complaint, the league essentially has 14 days to respond or not respond. And it adds time to something that maybe there's not a lot of time for. And that sort of feels like where the urgency is now coming into play in this scenario. Because now, even though everybody knew going into this year was going to be a big contract year for Trinity Rodman, it's all coming down to this final moment. And we've got more to add on to this, because the most latest update in a report that ESPN filed Wednesday evening, it states that NWSL owners are considering a vote on a roster mechanism that will essentially allow teams to pay star players more than what the salary cap actually allows. And there's some interesting things within that too, because this potential new mechanism, it wouldn't be the first of its kind in American pro soccer, no, but it would be a first to NWSL. So unlike an MLS designated player rule, this proposed concept would not allow teams to offer unlimited funds to any player. Each club would have a set amount of money beyond the current cap to spend on star players that meet specific criteria. And those funds could be used on multiple players. And so this is all a proposal. It still needs to be voted on. And not only does the mechanism have to be voted on, but that also includes really kind of finalizing whatever parameters define a star player.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's the bizarre thing, because it's actually exactly what happens in MLS. Like, those players are DPs and they're star players, right? So is it a number of goals? Is it a number of moments? Is it, hey, I'm offered X amount of money in different leagues, so I should be getting that here so I can stay in domestic league? I think the difficult thing is, this has been building for a long time. And I don't know, Sandra, maybe you know this, how many Board of Governors meetings there has been, but why wait till the last one in December to finally figure this out? Because this has been eating away at the league over the last, I would say, 3 or 4 transfer windows, with players leaving and trying to figure out a way to get them to stay. I think it's a magnificent idea. I've been calling for it, because we want these players to be in here in the league. And also another point that I think is really important, when you take that money then off the salary cap, because you're not paying, maybe you're paying that person max salary, but then the rest is, maybe they wouldn't have been able to, maybe not even max salary, right? Is that providing more money for other players within the salary cap? Because I don't know if it's their whole contract isn't under the salary cap, it's only a certain amount. I think that's something that needs to be thought about too, because if you can take a big star player's money off of the salary cap, then that other money can be distributed to other players and keep other players who are emerging in the league as well.
And also those role players. The NWSL is one of the most competitive and the best leagues in the world, because they have glue players of teams that have been around and played several years or played with multiple clubs and understand the type of league it is. It is transitional. It is physical. It's also getting more technical. You need those players to almost bridge the gap between the superstars and some of the rookies that are coming in and trying to get adjusted to the game, but also paying them a little bit more, because we've seen them take a little bit of a knock in salary this past year with the changes. They have to figure something out. the league has to figure something out because they're constantly losing stars. Naomi Girma, Alyssa Thompson, and now Trinity Rodman is the next conversation. And if they don't figure this out now, the issue is only going to arise again next transfer window or at the end of the next year when different players' contracts come up. Because there are still a lot of stars in the NWSL, but if the league doesn't pay them what they're wanting and what they deserve, we're going to see these stars start to trickle out.
Sandra, one quick thing. Can we put that comment back up on the screen? Because I think that was a really good comment that just came through with a couple of different points to it. We need to make sure the league stays in business. And yes, I agree. But I do think that there are owners in this league who are willing to spend money in order to make their teams excellent. Michelle Kang has already proved that, right? She's going to do whatever it takes. And so I think we need to acknowledge that and say, okay, if we can keep the best players in here, then players from around the world are going to want to come here and play. Like, I think that this is a big sticking point for people not wanting to come into this league. But also the salary cap then creates a league where there's not a couple of dominant teams, which is that second point. I think that you still have the salary cap. You know, is one star player going to secure your team winning year in and year out? The Washington Spirit have had Trinity Rodman and they've won once. So I don't believe it will, but I do believe you're going to start to get some bigger name players. Can you get Sam Kerr back? Can you get Bon Mati to come over and be one of these star players? Like, of course, we don't know what the criteria is. Is it an American player? Is it a non-American player? We don't know about that. Maybe that's part of the criteria. But I do think that in order to continue to push to be the best league, you know, we saw MLS do this in their 11th year. Now NWSL is really going into their 14th year, right? Technically. I think it's time. You see the tables turning, you see the league progressing to this next step. And it feels to me like this could be a really good solution in order to continue this league progressing in the right direction.
These stars and the players, like keeping Trinity Rodman in the league, of course, is good for Washington Spirit. Their on the ball play, their goal scoring. Also, so many of the non-tangibles that Trinity Rodman brings. She brings a personality to this league, to Washington Spirit, and a face to it, right? That is how also leagues grow in terms of marketing capabilities and recognizability. If you have a superstar that is winning gold medals with the U.S. women's national team, then playing for the local club in Washington, D.C., that is a connect, and that helps grow the game on a global level that I think the NWSL is going to miss out on if they don't try to find a way to get some of these stars to retain them and also bring in other stars.
That's the inflection point that this scenario is at right now, because I think it went from the good faith back and forth, which is to your point, earlier point, Jordan. You're just like, why are they having this meeting now? Because I mean, I think there was a lot of that concept in the beginning stages of any negotiation. There's that good faith. There's still time. Let's go back and forth. And now that sense of urgency is that internal clock, I think, is going off for everybody. And I think you hear that. Yeah, we got to speak to Haley Carter with the Washington Spirit. She did a very lengthy media availability. I mean, she gave us like an hour of her time alongside Nathan Minion to talk about just her arrival and her process in getting and accepting the role with Washington Spirit. But, you know, of course, there were plenty of questions about Rodman and that ongoing situation. And I think that's really where it is now. Like, it's kind of gone past that good faith. It kind of got into the ugly phase a little bit, obviously, with the veto and now the grievance. And now it's like the time is ticking away. There has to be a solution. And there's these multiple things that can be true, to the points that Paul Brown made in the chat and that you noted on, Jordan, in terms of like, they have to get creative and they have to figure out a solution because there's enough evidence at this point that shows the league needs to do more to be able to compete with negotiating these types and kinds of salaries, and they don't have those mechanisms in place. And it's like this strange merry-go-round where it goes back and forth, and it's like, well, that's because the salary cap keeps the league competitive and blah 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 blah. And it's just like, we're in a new era of NWSL. When this league got started, there was the argument that there were clubs who were more competitive than other clubs in the league a decade ago because they had more USWNT stars. That's why there was an allocation system in place, a player allocation system in place. Guess what doesn't exist anymore? That they did away with that. Like
draft, so many things, right?
There's so many things that have changed in this league over, year 1 to year 13, that this kind of fixation for me on the salary cap is kind of funny. It's like no one's saying that you have to smash it away to smithereens, but there do need to be some different, more creative solutions when it comes to very unique circumstances. And Trinity Rodman in this current contract situation has become one of those unique circumstances. And Haley Carter was adamant about that as well in all of her conversing, that she sees all of the sides and all of the angles on it, but that is the moment they are at. They have to figure out a creative solution.
That's one of the very evident things about all this entire saga that is happening. Trinity Rodman wants to stay in the NWSL.
Well, they agreed on a contract. So that I think is one of the biggest things that has happened over the last week.
Absolutely. Which says that she wants to stay, which says that she is willing to make it work, that she is willing to bend a little bit, maybe not take as high of a salary as is being offered at other clubs in different leagues. Now the NWSL has to bend a little because they obviously want Trinity Rodman to say. Commissioner Jessica Berman has said that they want Rodman to say. They have to find a compromise. There has to be bending on both sides of this. There's a lot of working ideas out there, right? Even you look at other professional leagues, the MLB, Major League Baseball, NBA, they have a soft salary cap. They have a luxury tax, which provides a different wrinkle. Like there are so many different avenues and different solutions for this to be figured out. We just have to get there. And clock is ticking. It's December 11th. Her contract.
One more board of governors meeting. So
They gotta go.
Good luck to them.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows if we'll find ourselves hopping right back on to this, Lisa? Because you know what always happens when we do things, like some sort of resolution takes place. Yeah, and the timing of the reporting to me always rings alarms in my head.
Sandra, you know what that means? Everyone, they have to subscribe to W Golazo YouTube, because if something's going to happen, we'll go live. You guys will get the alert, and then you'll be right here with us to break it all down for you. And Sandra's got the reporting. Like, we've got you covered.
I was going to say they need to do it in the next couple of days because Sandra's got a big day coming up and we can't be messing with that.
Exactly. Big day coming up for Sandra. She's getting married, going to the chapel, and
we're so close. We're so close. We can't wait. Shout out to my favorite girl in the whole world, Elise. Can't wait to share the nuptials. Honestly, you know what that really means? When I'm saying those nuptials, you know that's when that contract's going to get finalized.
Sandra's going to be at the altar like, hold on, Elise. I got to write this up.
Let me just finish this.
Let me just, like I literally did that this morning. I was like, I promise I'm going to be in our check-in meeting, guys. I just got to write something real quick. No, it's all part of a very, very lucky life I get to live. And I get to share these moments with wonderful people like you, who have known me for a very long time and get to see me take these next steps in my life. So I'm so happy that we got to talk all things Women's Champions League, of course, talk all things Trinity Rodman contract situation as well. And Lisa's 100% correct. She's always right, and she should just say it louder. You should absolutely tap in to all of our content available to you. Make sure to follow Attacking Third wherever you get your podcast. Go ahead, leave us that 5-star rating and review. You can find us at youtube.com/WGolazo. Make sure you read all of our content at cbssports.com. You can catch us on the CBS Sports Golazo Network for all of your women's football coverage. We'll be back next week with even more Women's Champions League content. So stick around. Thanks for being here with us. We appreciate you. That's a wrap.